First story is The Vanishing Reflection. Alex Bennett, a 32-year-old history professor, wakes up one morning and heads to the bathroom to brush his teeth. He glances at the mirror and freezes. His reflection is missing. Shocked and confused, he waves his hand in front of the mirror, but there's no response. He touches the glass, half expecting it to ripple like water, but it remains solid. Panicking, Alex rushes to other mirrors in his house, bedroom, hallway, even a compact mirror he keeps in his briefcase. Each one shows the same disturbing reality. He has no reflection. Desperate for answers, he calls his friend and colleague, Dr. Julia Martinez, who specializes in metaphysical studies. Julia, skeptical but intrigued, agrees to meet him later that day. Julia arrives and examines Alex's condition. She tests various mirrors, uses different light sources, and even records Alex with a video camera. The camera shows Alex perfectly, but the mirrors remain empty. Julia hypothesizes that this phenomenon might be linked to a curse or a supernatural event. Alex recalls a strange artifact he recently discovered, a centuries-old mirror with an intricate frame, during his latest research trip to an ancient castle. Julia suggests they return to the castle to investigate the artifact further. Reluctantly, Alex agrees. The castle's caretaker, an elderly woman named Margaret, seems anxious when they inquire about the mirror. She reveals a legend. The mirror was crafted by an alchemist who was obsessed with immortality. He believed reflections trapped a part of the soul and created the mirror to steal others' reflections, hoping to achieve eternal life. As they delve deeper, Alex and Julia discover a hidden journal by the alchemist, describing rituals and the dark magic he used. One entry mentions that those whose reflections are taken will eventually fade from existence unless the curse is reversed. With growing urgency, they search for a way to break the curse. Margaret warns them that the alchemist's spirit is said to haunt the castle, protecting his secrets. While exploring the castle at night, Alex encounters the alchemist's ghost. The apparition attacks, trying to drag Alex into a mirror. Julia intervenes, using knowledge from the journal to fend off the spirit temporarily. Alex feels his strength waning, as if he's beginning to fade. They realize they have only until dawn to reverse the curse, or Alex will disappear forever. Julia finds a ritual in the alchemist's journal that can restore Alex's reflection. It requires a personal item of Alex's, a shard of the cursed mirror, and a specific incantation. As they prepare for the ritual, the alchemist's ghost returns, more aggressive and determined. A fierce struggle ensues. Alex and Julia manage to trap the ghost using the mirror shard, weakening its power. With time running out, they complete the ritual just as the first light of dawn breaks through the castle windows. As the final words of the incantation are spoken, a bright light emanates from the mirror shard. Alex's reflection slowly reappears in the mirrors around them. The alchemist's ghost lets out a final, agonized wail before dissipating into the ether. Alex collapses, exhausted but relieved. Julia helps him to his feet, and they watch as the cursed mirror crumbles to dust. Returning home, Alex feels a renewed appreciation for life. He thanks Julia for her help and decides to take a break from his research to focus on his well-being. The experience leaves him with a deeper understanding of the mysteries of the world and a cautious respect for the unknown. The mirrors in his house once again reflect his image, a constant reminder of the ordeal he overcame and the importance of facing the unknown with courage and resilience. Now, second story is Echoes of the Night. Emma Lewis, a graphic designer in her late 20s, wakes up in a cold sweat after a vivid nightmare. In the dream, she finds herself in a dimly lit park at night, surrounded by tall, ominous trees. She hears someone whispering her name, but when she turns around, she sees a masked figure holding a knife. Just as the figure lunges at her, Emma wakes up. Shaken, Emma tries to brush off the nightmare as just a bad dream. However, the feeling of dread lingers throughout her day. She tells her best friend Sarah about the dream, and they both laugh it off, blaming it on the horror movie they watched the night before. But Emma can't shake off the eerie familiarity of the dream's setting. The next evening, Emma takes her usual route home from work, which leads her through a small park. As she walks, she notices the park looks strikingly similar to the one in her nightmare. Her heart races as she quickens her pace, eyes darting around nervously. Suddenly, Emma hears someone whispering her name. She freezes, recalling her nightmare. Turning around slowly, she sees a masked figure standing under a streetlight, holding a knife. Paralyzed with fear, Emma's mind races. This can't be real. She's still dreaming, right? Emma snaps out of her shock and starts running, her footsteps echoing in the empty park. She hears the figure chasing her, the nightmare becoming terrifyingly real. She spots a couple walking their dog and screams for help. The couple, startled, rush to her aid, and the masked figure vanishes into the shadows. The police arrive and take Emma's statement, but they find no trace of the masked figure. Emma feels a mix of relief and lingering fear, knowing that her nightmare came true. The officers promise to patrol the area more frequently, but Emma's sense of security is shattered. Determined to regain control of her life, Emma starts researching her nightmare and the park. She learns that years ago, a series of attacks occurred in the park, all unsolved. She begins to suspect that her dream might be connected to these past events. One night, she returns to the park, armed with a pepper spray and her phone, determined to confront her fear. As she walks through the park, she hears the whisper again. This time, she's ready. She turns to face the masked figure and sprays him with the pepper spray. The figure drops the knife, stumbling back in pain. Emma calls the police, who arrive quickly and apprehend the man. To her shock, the attacker turns out to be a copycat criminal, inspired by the old, unsolved cases. Emma's bravery leads to the capture of a dangerous criminal, and she helps the police uncover the full extent of his crimes. Although the experience leaves her scarred, Emma regains her sense of safety, knowing she confronted her nightmare head-on. The park, once a place of terror, becomes a symbol of her courage and resilience. Emma moves forward, stronger and more confident, having faced and overcome her darkest fears.